How's it going, everyone? I'm back for another video blog. Wanted to do one today. It's late, so excuse the wild hairdo and just the sort of homemadeness this is going to be, but whatever, like I care. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Xbox One fiasco over the past week and my thoughts on it, which, yeah, I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it a fiasco for no reason. Let's just say that. But I do have opinions on it, and I'm sure they're shared with a lot of people out there. And I'll have some personal stories to tell about that whole thing. But I don't like harping on what I'm going to talk about all that much, as I know some people do. I just like to talk about what I'm going to talk about. Imagine that. And what I first want to talk about is what I've been playing over the past week. And last Wednesday, I got Call of Juarez Gunslinger on Steam. And it plays great. I mean, I liked the first Call of Juarez, and I thought Call of Juarez Bound in Blood was even better. And then they came out with Cartel, and I don't know what they were doing with that. I don't think they did either, because then they ditched that whole thing and went back to the series roots with Gunslinger. And with Gunslinger, it's back to the Old West setting that the first two games had, and it's told, you know, from the story of an old man who apparently had all these crazy adventures with all these old-time legends of the Old West, including, you know, Billy the Kid, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and I don't want to spoil too much, but you get the idea, you get the picture. And obviously there's a Let's Play on this YouTube channel that you can go ahead and watch if you feel like you want to. And there's that, and it's very good. The game is. If you're not watching it, I'll let you know. It's very good, and you should probably play it for yourself. I do highly recommend it, and it's only 15 bucks. Like it came out last week. It came out at just 15 bucks, sort of like Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it, probably more than a lot of $60 games. I thought Call of Juarez Gunslinger was pretty good, and there's a new Game Plus mode that I think I really want to play. So I'm gonna be doing that soon. And then, yeah, so if you haven't checked out my Call of Juarez Gunslinger videos, you don't really have to, because you can just buy the game, and I think you'll be satisfied if you're looking for anything in that same realm. Yeah. I thought, I mean, and not to harp on it too much, but I thought that the Old West was sort of covered by Red Dead Redemption. But this sort of hits another type of, you know, itch for that type of thing. I love games in that setting generally, so I'm already sort of slanted to like them, and that's why I even tried the first Call of Juarez, which you loved it or you hated it, and I kind of loved it in a weird way. And so yeah, there you go. Check it out. And then of course I have another video of this Resident Evil Revelations on the Wii U, and I haven't really played much of it. I played like the first mission, and that's what I've recorded, is what I have played. Oh, and by the way, speaking of recording, my Call of Juarez Gunslinger playthrough is finished. It's done. It's all uploaded on YouTube. I just like to schedule things out a little bit, and you'll have to let me know if you like that better. If I schedule things out a little bit, is that better than just uploading everything and just letting it go out? I don't know. To me, I think I would prefer if it was scheduled out just a little bit, staggered. So today, my Call of Juarez Gunslinger videos are going to go, like, I think there's going to be part 10, part 11, and part 12. And then tomorrow, part 13, part 14, and the end. So that's, I think, how we're going to do it. About 3 videos a day going up. I think that's pretty okay. But you'll have to let me know if you like that. If you prefer me to just upload it and there you go. But I don't know, maybe I just don't think that you guys would prefer me spamming your YouTube feeds. But I also don't want to be like, okay, 1 video a day. Because I don't think that, I think people would lose interest. Unless you think that's better. I don't know. So just give me feedback about that. But yeah, I'm getting back into Revelations now. I wanted to finish Call of War as Gunslinger before I did anything else. So I want to get back into Revelations now. Moving on, I got a game for my 3DS, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. But I haven't played it yet. It was a very busy weekend. My girlfriend and I went down to Salt Lake City, saw a WWE event, and then we did a little bit of shopping, a little bit of eating, stuff like that, and then we came home. Past few days, her and I have been sort of getting into a workout regimen type thing. She's been busy with other stuff. It's the weather's nice out, so we're spending more time outside. The pool's open here at the apartment complex, so it's just been a busy time. Far less busy than I'm making it out to be, but still been busy. So, oh, and I've been playing the hell out of Minecraft too. I don't do videos on that because I don't think they'd be very interesting, but if you think they would be, maybe let me know. Maybe I should try one, just talking over it, upload it. The thing is, and I'm probably going to do a whole video on this whole thing, on how I record my games. But, once I clean the house. I'm just kidding. It's not that dirty. But, the thing why I like to record console games and games I can play on the laptop, because we have a laptop, and that's what I record PC games on generally. But I like to play Minecraft on this computer, which is a Mac. And the thing is we use a game capture, Elgato game capture, and it takes in my voice and captures the video and the sound or whatever, and I can adjust the volumes so that my voice is perfectly over it or whatever, over the game. And then it has a built-in video editor, so I can just go in and chop, and then say, okay, put that, export that video, and it exports it in like a minute, which is amazing considering most video editing software can take anywhere up to a couple of hours if you really want to do heavy editing. But anyway, so it outputs that video real quick, and then I can upload it to YouTube, and it's a really quick, fast process, and I don't have to do really any work at all or any editing at all, and I love it. Because the more time I have to spend editing and playing with stuff and doing this and yada yada yada, the less likely I am to record a video in the first place, let alone a full playthrough of a game. And the whole reason the Conquer playthrough is on hold is because of the stupid N64 malfunctioning. And the room that we've got all our crap in, our old stuff in, is a complete disaster right now, and I don't really want to mess with it. So there's that. That is a little bit of a rant thing, but we're getting into a little bit of ranty mode here, so I hope you're ready. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. Sorry. Anyway, we'll get back to the Conquer playthrough, I'm sure, at some point. Oh yeah, before I get off track onto the Xbox One thing, which sort of relates, E3's coming, and I'll be there. I don't know how many videos I'll be posting. I don't like to promise anything just in case I don't post anything, but I'm probably going to post at least something at the show. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter @TheWesker, same as my YouTube, and you'll see all my updates there if you're interested. I might do some audio boos, which are little audio things I can just really quickly talk and upload and Takes about 5-10 minutes for me to do, so that's really easy and quick, because a lot of the time between appointments at E3, I have about enough time to walk to the next appointment. So if I can talk while I'm walking, it works out perfectly. But yeah, and I don't really want to look like, I mean, I know this is kind of weird to say, but I don't really want to look like one of those weirdos who's like, yeah, and so we're gonna talk about this and yada yada yada. I'm video blogging while I'm walking. I don't know. That just seems weird, and I don't really want to do that. But now we can talk about the Xbox One. Oh yeah, I guess that also relates. Is some family emergency came up last week, and we had to drive clear across Montana, which there is nothing in that state beyond Bozeman. When you go east, as far as I could tell anyway. So, anywho, so that all happened or whatever on Tuesday, and so I was in the car for like 16 hours on Tuesday, and I was using my iPhone as a personal hotspot, using its internet connection to watch the Xbox thing, and they were talking about TV forever. They were talking about TV, and then all of a sudden it cuts, and I have yet to watch the rest of it. But I have read a lot of the coverage on gaming sites about the Xbox One, so I know a lot about it. It's just a matter of I didn't actually watch the rest of it. I know they revealed the Call of Duty, and they talked about sports a lot, and then stuff like that. But what this real story is, because they'll show games at E3, I'm not concerned about that. The real concern is what came out immediately after the conference, which, I mean, I'm driving through Yellowstone Park, so it's kind of hard to complain when you're driving through Yellowstone Park because it's beautiful, right? But it's like my backyard, so it's not that, I mean, I see it all the time, so it's like, it's not a big deal. But, so when I finally get my internet back, because we lost service through Yellowstone Park, my phone lost service for about an hour or so. When I finally get service again, I'm checking Twitter and whatnot, and the shitstorm began. I'm looking, and I see no backwards compatibility, and I'm like, because I was really, really hoping that I would be able to play my giant 360 collection of probably over 300 games, and that's not including arcade and games on demand, on the new Xbox. But the PS4 doesn't have it, so I don't know what I expected. I guess I expected that because we have digital games, and this was the first generation, and this is one of the things that pisses me off, is when people go, well, the Super Nintendo didn't have it. The GameCube didn't have it. The PS3 lost its PS2 backwards compatibility. And yada yada yada. And well, retail games are no different than digital games. And it's like, okay. But here's the thing. This is the first generation where digital games actually mattered. In the past generation, PS2, Xbox generation, or GameCube generation, we didn't have digital games. I mean, okay, we had the original Xbox had like a live arcade disc you could buy or get somehow in the store or whatever, and pump it into your Xbox, and you could download live arcade games like Ms. Pac-Man or something. But that was irrelevant. Nobody did that. So who cares? So this was the first generation where digital games actually mattered, and that was pioneered by Microsoft. And I thought, okay, well, they pioneered the whole thing. I mean, Sega Channel started it, sure. I think Sega really wanted to move into that space, and they probably would have if they had stayed in the console race. But Microsoft sort of pioneered the whole thing with the 360, with Live Arcade. So I thought, okay, well, they pioneered the whole thing. They got this down. They're gonna, with the next generation, it's gonna be no problem. They're gonna bring in your old games, and it'll work just fine. And then they announced, no backwards compatibility. And I know that this is a very personal thing to a lot of people. Well, I don't care about backwards compatibility. I just want to play the new games. That's fine. But there are those of us who care. And I actually got asked a good question on Twitter this week because I complained on Twitter, and somebody asked, well, why do you care if you're just going to keep your old system? Old systems break. And that's the number one reason. Old systems break. And if I have a downloadable game on that old system and it breaks, and it's like bricked, completely can't turn it on, nothing, how am I supposed to get the game off of there? And, okay, connect to the server on another Xbox that they may not even manufacture anymore and download the game from there. Okay. In 10 years, let's just say hypothetically, in 10 years, I want to play, name a live arcade game, there's tons of them. In 10 years, I want to play, that's a bad, anyway, I can't think of a live arcade game. Okay, let's say in 10 years, I want to play, I think I have Sonic 2 on the live arcade. Okay? It's Sonic 2, you can find it on anything, but that's irrelevant. I want to play the live arcade version. And Microsoft, just a couple of years ago, because we're in 2023 at this point, and we're on our hoverboards and whatnot, so we're not too concerned with video games anymore. So Microsoft has shut down the 360 servers. And one day I'm just like, oh, I want to play Sonic 2 on live arcade. So I pop on my 360, it doesn't turn on. It won't turn on. It won't. Nothing I can do will turn it on. Okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Oh, I know. I'll buy a new console. Oh, wait. They don't make the consoles anymore. Oh, wait. If I got a new console, I can't even download it. Oh, but I've got my hard drive, right? Oh, that thing failed too. Stuff breaks. And that's the number one reason why I support backwards compatibility 100%. And especially when it comes to digital games. Because in 10 years, if my Wii U breaks, and I can get a new Wii U, probably, more than likely, then I can just take the disc out of my Wii U, out of my broken one, and put it in this one, into a new one, I can't do that with a digital game just as easily, especially when it comes to stuff like the PS3. Because with the 360, okay, it's got the removable hard drive, it's a little bit easier to do. But with the PS3, it has a removable hard drive, but all the content's locked to the system. And if there's no server to connect to, and to re-download the stuff, you can't unless you backed it up onto some external hard drive, as if everybody does that every couple of days. It's really stupid, and I just wish more people shared my same viewpoint. I know there's a lot of people that are just like, I just don't care about older games. I'm not going to care to play Alien Hominid in 10 years. Well, some of us are, and some of us are still playing NES games today. So, I don't know. I'm all for game preservation, if you will. And it also sounds like it's probably going to be some sort of cash grab where Microsoft's going to be like, okay, well, you want to play Halo 4? Well, get Halo 4 Super HD on the Xbox One. And it's got better graphics, and it's got all these bells and whistles, yada, yada, yada. Because, they did it with the PS3 and stuff with these HD collections. You can get Metal Gear HD and God of War HD and Ratchet and Clank HD and Sly HD and all these HD collections. So, yeah. I don't blame them for trying to resell the old games. But that sounds like a very kind of shady excuse to not allow us to play the old ones on the new system. I understand technical limitations. I just wish And yeah, I've heard this argument too. Well, it's just not possible. Well, that's fine, but I just wish these companies had more forethought before they had us investing in these digital collections. Okay, so that's just one part of it. That's just one part of my rant on the Xbox One, and that's backwards compatibility. Granted, it's like the thing I feel the most strongly about, but that's what it is. Next, I saw that, well, you buy a used game for the Xbox One, you're going to have to pay a fee. And the original thing was, okay, well, it's a fee. And it's like, okay, well, how much is a fee? 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 30 bucks? And then Phil Harrison or whatever comes out and he goes, well, it's going to be the price of the full game. And apparently Phil Harrison's Australian. But, and that's a really big problem, because why the fuck does the used game even exist anymore? Why even sell the disc anymore? At that point, it doesn't make any sense. Also, if this account thing works and you're tied to the account and it's all tied to this, can I just re-download the game and say screw the disc? I don't understand. But that shouldn't even be an issue in the first place. The 360, like the way the 360 works, the way the Wii U works, the way the PS3 works, currently works. I don't understand what the problem is. That's not the problem. You don't need to get rid of used games to fix the gaming industry. What you need to do is make games that people want to buy, and people want to buy over and over and over, and people tell their friends to buy it. That's the kind of game you need to make, and that's the kind of game that's going to make you a ton of money and not require you to do stupid bullcrap like outlaw used games. You're just going to piss everybody off. I could just see it right now. Joe Blow, who doesn't know anything about the Xbox One, oh, well, I'm going to buy the Xbox One. And then he goes into GameStop or whatever, and GameStop's like, oh, but keep in mind, because this is going to happen. Don't even try to tell me it's not going to happen. This is going to happen. It's going to go up to the GameStop clerk, and the GameStop's going to go, oh yeah, the Xbox One's great, but it doesn't play used games unless you want to pay an extra fee. And the guy's going to go, well, screw that, I'll get the PlayStation then, or whatever, or Wii U. Because I don't count out the Wii U. I think it's a great system. And it doesn't do any of this stupid bull crap either. And then my backwards compatibility thing, that goes back into this Xbox One thing, where once they decide what's the next thing, the Xbox 2, or whatever they're going to call the next one, that's not even ignoring the Xbox One name, which frankly you'll get over, and the design you'll get over, and all that stuff, because whatever, who cares what the console looks like in the end, and who cares what the name is, because as long as it has a name that's not just Xbox or something like that, like they try to be clever, then who cares? But with the whole online, has to be online thing, I think I have enough faith in Microsoft, just enough, that they would be able to release some sort of patch that makes it not require that at the end of its life cycle. But that doesn't excuse it, because it shouldn't have that in the first place. You want to kill the gaming industry? You want to kill it? Do this used game crap. Have Sony do it, have Microsoft do it. Then you'll see. Then you'll see just how far you can fall. Because I don't think they've seen it yet. A lot of people say, oh, well, console gaming's dying, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it'll ever quite be dead. I don't really do. Sure, the Wii U isn't selling all that great, but I still think that everybody needs to just chill out and wait till the new consoles come out and figure out what it's going to be like. Now, Microsoft's got some explaining to do at E3, but so does Sony, because we don't know what their stance is on this whole thing. They've just been sort of quiet about it. When they asked about it at when they were asked about used games at their initial PS4 showing, they said used games will be playable on the PS4. Now, technically, used games will be playable on the Xbox One, so they're on the same playing field. But we don't know what the extent of used games will be playable on the PS4. Did they make some sort of shady deal with EA or something like that? We don't know. But we need to know these things so that we can sort of fight them on the ground floor and realize and tell them that how stupid this is. Because, I mean, I still buy NES games once in a while, and it's pretty darn cool when you think about it. I mean, not to sound like an elitist or something, but I think it's pretty cool that I can still walk in a store and buy an NES game and pop it in my cartridge and it still works. That's really neat. I love that. And I think that a lot of people who are like me love it too. And I like that I can still play my Super Nintendo. Heck, I can still play Conker on my N64. And they haven't released a game for that in 12 years. It's completely ridiculous. And I think everybody's pretty much on my side who knows what they're talking about. And that used games aren't the devil to the game industry. They're not. They're really not. Bad decisions are the devil for the game industry. And that's not the blame of the consumer. That's not our fault. We can't control what decisions they make. We can control what we buy, though. And that's what's most important. Thanks for listening to my rant. I hope you enjoyed. See you later.